What up, guys? We back. The Vault 500, day 26. What up, guys? We back. Day 26, the Vault 500. Daily news, tech news, and business inspiration. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. It's Tech Tuesday. It's my favorite day. What you guys up to? You guys. You know what I'm up to. I'm out here. I'm doing my walk. What's going on? What up, guys? It's the Vault 500 Tech Tuesday, and hope you guys are having a good day today. Appreciate you guys. Let me see. Maybe I could talk about some of the tools that I use this week that are most helpful to me when it comes to my business and the things that I do. So this week, when I was working with my consulting clients, I gave them advice on using ChatGPT. If you haven't used ChatGPT yet, you can actually create images with ChatGPT. Like, let's say you have an image you want to create for a project, whatever that is. You can use a certain prompt, and then ChatGPT will create the image for you. So I was talking with one of my clients this week, and he actually wanted to do an album cover. And I told him, I said, you can use ChatGPT for that. And the traditional way people would create album covers is they would hire a graphic designer. They would pay him $50 to $200, depending on the details of the image. So I told him, that you don't really have to do that anymore. You can kind of save that money and create images with ChatGPT. The only thing with creating images with ChatGPT is you have to become good at designing your prompt. The more you understand about prompt design, the better your images are going to come out. So that's one way I used ChatGPT this week with a client. I taught him how to use it for images, and it saves him a lot of money. He's gonna say, if you're dropping singles couple of times a month, 2 or 3 times a month, you're automatically saving like $1,000, $2,000. So um, that's one way you can use it. And I do have a business feature today. Um, Today, the Vault 500, I'm going to be talking about Morgan DeBaun. Hopefully, I'm not chopping her name up. She's a founder of a tech company, and she created a Blavity, sorry. And it's a tech company focused on black millennials. Expanded into multiple IP brands, AfroTech. This is something that I talk about all the time. Building one thing and then scaling. She built a platform that fuses culture, tech, and ownership. And she raised over 13 million in venture capital. Super cool. So this is one thing that I always talk about when it comes to scaling a business. You can scale anything. You know, she scaled what she started into a bunch of different businesses. She was able to raise 13 million. Here is an article that I found. That's pretty interesting. So in this article, she talks about when it comes to getting a lot of capital for your business. What's up, people? I'm here. The Vault 500, day 26. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. We're talking about Morgan DeBaun and some businesses and stuff that she created and how she scaled it. Stuff that I love to talk about. She's a tech person. It's Tech Tuesday. So yeah, let's finish getting into this article. One thing that she points out in the article is that you got to get your business going first. A lot of people, they have an idea for a business and they're not willing to get it going. You know, she got her business going and she generated revenue. She created a need. Sometimes you have to create a need for something. Sometimes it may not be a need for what you're trying to do. You got to create a need for it. You want there to be a need for it. You want to try to fill up a gap that's not there. And for her, number one, being a female, number two, being a black female, there was niches there that she was able to fill. And that's what motivated her, that she knew that she was filling a need that nobody was really focusing on. So she also talks about creators in this article, and I'm talking about Morgan DeBaun. She says that creators are like the go-to people. Now, a lot of people don't really trust regular media anymore. And I noticed that with a lot of my friends. They go, I mean, even you have so many creators that are online that have no idea what they're talking about. They're not educated in what they're talking about. You know, my thing is, if you're going to be an influencer, at least get educated into the things that you're talking about. Like me, I have a master's degree in technology. I've been a teacher for 20 years. So me getting on here talking about technology makes sense. You have so many influencers that are talking about things that they're not educated in. But that being said, people are still trusting influencers more than they trust news media. And that's crazy to me. It's crazy that people trust influencers more than they trust news media. And that goes to show you that people don't trust media anymore. They feel like the information is biased. The information that you're getting from these news outlets is kind of biased. So people are looking for other sources to get their information from. So if you're just tapping in, I'm talking about Morgan DeBaun. She's a tech influencer, creator. Some information about her right here. This is what I love to talk about, tech, and then starting out small. The great thing about technology is you can start online. You know, when I build my school, I'm gonna start my school online. I'm building a tech school, and I have a bunch of other things, a music company that I'm building, and I'm starting everything online. You don't always have to go and pay, get funding and pay for a building and all that stuff. The great thing about being online is you can start online and then scale it. If you want to get a building, you can scale it, get the revenue you need, scale it and get a building. There's a food truck company. There's a food truck. I forgot the name of the food truck. Something Hive, I think. And they were selling food from the food truck, and then they scaled it to a store. I think they make cakes and stuff and like ice cream. It's viral, so you probably seen it online. So they started with a food truck and they scaled it to a restaurant. And they used social media to do it. They didn't have a brick and mortar store before. They just used social media to bring attention to their food truck. And the food truck started doing a ton of business. They used the money. They used the money that they made from the school truck. They used the money that they made from the food truck. They reinvested and they got a brick and mortar building. Now they have a restaurant where they serve these treats. And these treats are like very individual. You know, people can bring in their own treats. They can bring in their own cereal. They can bring in their own cookies. You've probably seen it. It's viral. So you can probably go on TikTok. I think it's called something Hive, something like that. But they scaled it from a food truck to a brick and mortar store. And that's the great thing is about developing a business is you gotta anything can be scaled, you know. You can scale any business, you know, and I've talked about that before, especially with technology now. You don't even have to have rent an office and all of this different stuff to start a marketing agency. It could be just one person, just you, start a marketing agency, and you could target people that don't have the time to sit and learn AI. There are thousands of businesses that could use your help as a marketing agency using AI to market their businesses, and they just don't have the time to learn these things themselves. You have people that, a lot of people have to be in person with their job. Let's say, for example, personal trainers. Personal trainers have to be with their clients, unless they're training online. That's different. Most of them have to be in person. So then you have doctors, you have lawyers, you have people that have to be in person. So my point is, those are the type of people that you would target for a marketing agency. People that simply don't have the time to learn AI and learn how to create images and learn how to build websites using AI, learn how to use AI to set up marketing goals. There's a lot of people that are just too busy to learn those things. And you, let's say you created a AI marketing agency, those are the people that you want to target. People that are in-person type of workers that are not sitting at home on a computer. They got to work all day. So when they come home, they don't want to spend their time learning AI. They already have a career that they're focusing on. They just need help, right? So those are the type of businesses you would, like store owners, local store owners. They're busy every day working with customers, local ice cream shops. They're working with customers all day. They don't necessarily want to learn AI. But that's just one example of how you can use AI sitting at home on your computer, and you could build a business. You could build it locally. There's so many local businesses that need help, and they would love help marketing. But you have social media now, but even with social media, you need some sort of plan. So thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you. The Vault 500, day 26. We're talking about, it's Tech Tuesday, my favorite subject. Talking about using technology to become more successful. However it is you want to do that. This young lady created a company, and she scaled it to a point where she was able to get 13 million in funding. So that's what I've been talking about right now. But scaling is something that I always talk about. I like to talk about. You can scale any type of business. I'm gonna give you a couple of examples, well-known examples. Let's see. Well, the obvious is LeBron James, right? One of the biggest. Scaled playing basketball into a sneaker brand, an entertainment brand. Now he has one of the biggest entertainment brands. Now he's into television, movies, acting. What's up, people? Appreciate you guys for tapping in. The Vault 500, day 26. So like I was saying, any business can be scaled. There are a ton of businesses out here. I mean, if you look at, there's an actor, I forgot his name, but he's opened up a food truck in Atlanta, I think it was. So instead of dropping money and renting a building and doing all that, people that want to make food and create their own food dishes, they're starting food trucks. And they're getting very creative with it, which is really cool. And once they have enough money generated from the food truck, they're turning it into a restaurant. That's the smart way to do it. You know why? I'm gonna explain to you why. Starting with a food truck is way smarter than starting a restaurant. You have a big overhead when it comes to a restaurant. You gotta pay rent. A lot of time with these leasing agreements, you gotta put money up front. Then you gotta buy the equipment. You gotta hire employees. And you don't know how business is gonna be. You don't know. Starting a restaurant is, you don't know how things are gonna go. There's no guarantees with starting a restaurant. There's no guarantees with starting any business. It's just way riskier to start a restaurant. So that's why if that's your interest, if you're a cook and that's what you enjoy doing and you have unique dishes that you want to make, and start a food truck first. You can make, I've seen people with food trucks make $200,000 a year. And depending on how much money you need to live, after taxes, you got like 140,000 left. And if you can use 100,000 to live off of a year, you could take that 40,000 cash and invest it into a restaurant if you want. That's only after 1 year. If you do 2 years, you might have 80 grand saved up that you can invest into a brick and mortar restaurant if that's what you want. Or you can just get more food trucks and train people and have a couple of food trucks in your city. However you want to do it, however you want to scale it, I might do 2 or 3 food trucks and have, a couple of 100,000 coming in. And then take that money, if you eventually wanted to, and then invest it in a brick and mortar store. Or a creative way you can do it is you could have a pop-up. You could have a pop-up restaurant. Have your food truck parked outside. Take one of these buildings that they're renting out. And set up for the day. And do a pop-up. You could do a pop-up restaurant, so there's a couple of different ways that you could do that. There's a couple of ways that you can do that, but my thing is, you can scale almost anything once you get it off the ground, right? I'm gonna give, there was a kid on the internet. He likes to draw. I have a bad memory and I can never remember people's names and stuff. I'm sorry, but he's an artist. I think he's on TikTok and he draws. And he's just a young kid. I think he might be 11, 12 years old. 13 maybe. And he started drawing on TikTok, became popular, and he started selling his drawings. So you can scale any business. You know, you're talking about a 14-year-old kid that's drawing on TikTok, and he scaled his business and started selling his pictures. And you could order them in different ways. You can get them framed. I think he sells them between $25 and $60. And the kid is good. You know, this is not like regular kid drawings. He's super talented. And he's just a kid who liked to draw. And he scaled that using social media. He scaled it, and now he makes money doing it. And his mom said that she's saving the money that he makes from his drawings, and she's gonna save it for him to go to art school. So that's an amazing way that he scaled just being an artist. Just like in the draw, he used social media to build his, to scale to a point where he's selling his images. And that's just from him posting on TikTok. So at this point now, if you're a kid and you can scale just like in the draw and you can make money from it, you can do anything. You just gotta have a little originality. And if you have a little originality, you can scale it. So it's Tech Tuesday, y'all. The Vol 500. My feature today was Morgan DeBaun. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. This is the first time that I'm hearing about her. I actually did some research. She's a tech founder. She started her own company. She scaled it. She started a conference, a tech conference. She scaled it, and now she raised $13 million for her company. So this is what the Vol 500 is all about. Starting something and scaling it and continuing to scale. And I didn't go a lot into the research as far as the mistakes she made. And because everybody makes mistakes when they're coming up. I would love to know more detail about what didn't work. She talks about what worked and how she got money to scale her brands, right? But I want to know more details about what didn't work for her, what she failed at, and why she didn't give up. Because that's what the Vol 500 is about, people. Scaling, failing, and then figuring it out and not giving up. Just because you fail doesn't mean it has to be a failure. A fail could be a lesson. You can look at it in two ways. You can look at it as a lesson, or you can look at it as a failure. If you give up, that's a failure. Don't use age as an excuse. Don't look at me and say, oh, you can do that, you can say that. You got master's degrees, you got your own companies, you're good. Those are things that I worked really hard for. I worked hard for my education, I worked hard. So I didn't do well at everything. So I'm telling you now, there are a lot of things that I didn't do well that I could have done better, but I learned from. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, one thing that I didn't do well when it came to my career as being an entrepreneur is I didn't pay myself first. And that's a problem with people in general. When you're working, when you have your own business, you got to remember to pay yourself first. You have to be the first person that you pay, meaning that you take your money, you put it in the bank, you take that money, you put it in an investment, whatever that amount of money is. Take a chunk of it and put it away and invest it for yourself. That's the way you win. You pay yourself first, and then you pay your bills, and then you pay everyone else. If I would have known that when I was young, pay yourself first, I would have been way more successful at this point. You know, just having a large amount of money invested that you can invest back into whatever it is you're trying to do. So always pay yourself first. And that goes, I mean, we all have jobs, we all work. So just remember to pay yourself first. And that's really important. So today I featured this young lady, Morgan DeBaun. She's a tech founder. Today's Tech Tuesday, the Vault 500, day 26. And she talks about a lot of, this article was a great article, check it out. It's on Yahoo Finance. And she talks about building her company and raising money up to $13 million for her company. And she is a prime example of what I talk about here on the Vault 500. Make sure you do your research on her and check her out. So it's day 26, the Vault 500. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, hopefully around 7 o'clock. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm late today. I came out late today, but I appreciate you guys for tapping in. We had a great conversation today about a tech founder named Morgan DeBaun. And we talked about scaling. Scaling is something that's really important when it comes to any business. It's people that are scaling businesses now using social media, no matter what that business is. If you're an artist, whatever you can do, you can scale it with social media. So thank you guys for tuning in today to Vault 500, day 26. I'll be back.